You would never be able to restore this car for $100,000, not even close. And what I mean by restore is to take it back to the original. And when you restore something, people have different ideas of restore. They fixed it up, it's rust-free. You know, some people call it rust-free when they don't see any rust. It could have rust all through the floor and all through the quarter panels on the inside, but people call it rust-free. Not rust-free. When you restore something, that means you do every piece and you've restored it to the original, what it was before. If you say you've restored it, you can't open the hood of your car and see the wrong clips and the wrong fasteners and all that stuff. That's not being restored. That is being modified and fixed up to suit you. Restored is taking it back to the original, the way it was, and using all the proper pieces. When you call restore, that means you restore the dash. That means you restore the transmission. That means you go over the rear end. That means you do everything. And there's no possible way that you would touch this car for $100,000. And I know this because I've been into it long enough. We were at a shop in Halifax, close by. It's $90 an hour in approximately 2 years if you have a car taken off the frame. And I'm sure there's probably some pieces that are not gone over to put that car back together to call it restored. So that's generally why I like to modify and customize and do that sort of stuff, because I can get the project done doing it with what I have. I don't see anything wrong with it because I want to be in the car world. And if I don't have the $200,000 or the $100,000 to even touch this, then I get a chance to play with it, you know, if I don't have to restore it. I'm doing it my way. And that's what I think you should do on your car. Do it your way. If you like a restored car and you like them original the way they were, make sure you do it that way. But you must understand, when you go that way, it's more of that. And does it make you any happier? I'm not sure. If it does, go for it. But I got this piece in here right now. I've got to fix this. I've got a gap there. It did not come tight. I have a door gap that's really tight going on there. I've got the doors welded shut because the door, remember when we lifted the car up, it spread like that. It pulled it apart and it basically, I did not want that. So when I tacked the door shut on it, that stopped it from going apart. Now that we've got the rocker or the sill put on it, or rocker panel, whatever you want to call it, this piece coming across the bottom of the door connected to the front, now it cannot pull apart. But I do still have the doors welded shut because I want the doors to fit when I'm done. With this here, it has no door gap. I cannot do anything about that because the hinges are making that door gap that tight, and that's probably the way it was the day it was born. But as I'm looking at that, when I put this piece in, I'm not going to do anything with the door gap yet because the door is not open, and I do not want to open it yet because I'm going to chop the roof on this car, and I will deal with the door gap after. But I'm going to put the piece in there, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. That's what I'm going to do. Stop my talking and go for it. I have, what do I have? All right, I'm going to clean this little area up here because I'm going to do something there. Let's do that. I got an air hose right here. I've got a little here. I want to thank everybody for coming back. I really appreciate it. I really do. I must thank the man that gave us gloves. We were in Digby the other day and a man dropped off a bunch of gloves. Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Didn't get a chance to thank you, but I'm thanking you now. Appreciate it. Jolene looks amazing today. Colton's got a day off, and I'm happy. Some people ask me how we get the car that clean. We're using the plastic stripper wheels, and then we're using that Eastwood S2000, or what is it?
SCT.
ST, whatever. It's a stripper wheel with the plastic roller wheel on it. This is a Scotch Brite wheel on a side end grunt. It's just taking that off, not taking any metal off. This down here is good because this is the panel that we have, but I want to put a piece in along here. Let's do it. Let's get a measuring tape. Brand new measuring tape. Haven't even opened it yet. I have to thank the person that sent that. I have a piece. Not into using a measure tape that much, but we're going to. 15 inches long. I don't want to. I want to make it. I'll just make it, and then I'll explain why. I'm going to say an inch, I guess. I got a marker. Yes, I've got a marker. Let's go down here and cut a piece of metal. I want to get a nice straight line on that, so I will cut it on the shear. The shear will just make me a nice straight line. You can cut it any way you want to, but the shear is a nice thing to go to do that. Is that 15 inches long? Beautiful. I'm going to set that aside. I know it's rusty, but I'll clean it. How you doing this morning, Fina? How you doing this morning? How you doing this morning, baby? How you doing this morning? Yeah? Let's do this. I'm not letting you out. I'm sorry, Fina. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not letting you out. I'm sorry. Now, I want to get an inch. Now, this will give me a nice straight line, and then I can put it down that quarter panel. One side I'm going to weld, and one side I'm not going to weld. And I'll explain that as I go. Watch your feet. I'm using 18 gauge. I use 18 gauge most all the time. I just find it thicker. It is thicker than 20. Also, it gives me a chance to grind it and make it look nice. And I'm not scared of grinding it a little bit off because it is a little bit thicker. Clean it off. This is a little Scotch-Brite pad on a wheel, on a side angle grinder. Thanks everybody for coming back. I really appreciate it. Just building old cars and having fun. Okay, that is a little bit warm. Touch that, that is warm. On this side, I might have to cut it off a little bit more. Nope, I'm gonna be fine. Now, you can see that I have that on there. I can weld it on this side, no problem, but I think I'm going to shear a little bit more off. And the reason being is, I want to tack this side. I want to tack this side to here. I want to tack it there. I want to see this edge, but I'm going to tack it there. And then when it comes time to take the door off, and then what I can do is I can run my zip cut up through it, and then I can take a hammer and I can bang this edge back, and then weld it to this. So if I take and lay it on here like so, if I lay it on about like that, and tack it on like that, when it comes time to open the door and make my door gap, I can follow this piece of metal down the edge down here and cut it, and then I can tap this part back and butt weld it to the edge of that. If I go up here, then I'm going to cut two pieces of metal without seeing actually what's going on. So I want it to fit here, like so. I want it to fit there. I might even run a zip cut through it to make it fit a little better for penetration. But I want it to come back a little bit further. So I'm going to cut that off just a little bit more because I'm right on the lip. I don't want it there. I don't mind this side. This side's got to fit where it's got to fit, but I want that back a little bit when it comes time to cut it, because I'm not going to be able to make the door gap now. I'm going to wait. You can see how I've got it here. I've got this back a little bit. That could be welded there because that door gap's plenty, but that's going to be zip cut and then weld it. But when it comes up here, it starts getting tight again. But I can run my zip cut with the metal, and then I can tab it back and we can butt weld it together. And then we can grind it off so it looks fairly decent like that. So I'm gonna cut some more off of this. Hope I can anyways. I probably should use a zip cut. Just gonna take my trusty finger. And cut that off. Hopefully this shear will take it. If the shear doesn't take it, I'll have to do it again. Do 3/4 of an inch cut. It's gonna be scary, isn't it? Probably should zip cut it. Probably, but we'll see. Take my fingers off here. Nope, that's not the one. That's not it, that's not it. And we're gonna try to get that done and make it look good, like as if, obviously, like it's never been. Yeah, I wonder, I'm gonna bend that over. Ah, ruined it. Just like that. Should have zip cut it. I'm gonna zip cut it and I'm gonna fix it. Just cut it and fix it. No sense me cutting another piece. Then I have to clean another piece. I'm gonna put my new gloves on, zip cut it and put it in there. Let's do it. Let's make it look like it's welded in there and you cannot tell from a distance. That's what we want. Everything's going really good. Everything's going really good. I like cutting everything off. Like as we put the wheel well in there, we put the wheel well in a position that we could grind off all the weld and make it look nice. We cut the panel and we bring it up to the body line to make it look nice, and when you grind it off, you can't tell. If you start cutting it off down here, well then you have a chance to see all that weld and all that movement. I generally do not like to do that, and the reason being is I'm trying to hide the work. That's what everybody should do, try to hide your work. You still love me if I only have 3 fingers? Huh? She's thinking about it. She's thinking about it. Let's get this pounded off. Let's do this. Gotta get myself in motion here. Talking too much. My hammer must be on the other side. Nope, I'm right here. Let's get this flattened out, get it smoothed out again. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget. Every time you hit a piece of metal with a hammer, you are stretching it. Every time. Might not be a lot. Might be just a little, but you're stretching it. You're pounding it. Let's get this straight again. Had it straight before. Don't take much. Sometimes to bend a little piece of metal. Let's get this put in here. Now you can see, I can run that grinder along this line. If I tack that on there, take these gloves off for a minute. They're brand new and fresh. They're big and fat they are. What I mean by big and fat is they're bulky right at the present moment. Now, we've got a piece that will go in there. Now I can see where I'm going to run my grinder up this edge of the side of the door. This side I'm going to butt weld on, and this side I'm going to butt weld on, but I'm not going to do this side until I get the door open. That makes sense. Sure it does. Let's clean things up and let's get it tacked on there. I got a little tiny grinder over here. Nope, right there. Let's do this. Can't get at it. Yeah. Piece of sandpaper. That'll do it. Excuse me, sweetheart. I'm going to grab a piece of sandpaper. Piece of 80 grit will scrub that off quick enough. I got a little tiny box here that I throw sandpaper in so I do not waste. Waste not, want not. Waste not, want not. Just fold it, get it in there. And we're gonna have to, you can see up here, like when it comes up here, exact same thing. Just run the zip cut up through that, bang it back a little bit, and get myself a little gap. I'd like to get that little cleaner in there if I could. Oh, I can. Just dig at it harder. I've got 2 sides to do on this. 2 sides. All right, let's get the welder started up. Jolene's getting her room done down the other house, getting it done slowly. She's getting her vision coming through. She got her fake wall put up. She got one of her windows cased out. It's looking good. She's looking good, I must say. Jolene's always looking good. She's always looking good. Let's turn that on. Gas on. Don't look like I got any gas. Looks like we're gonna end up. See what happens. See what happens. I blow my helmet off. I have an air gun right there, did I?
Yeah, under.
What's that?
Under the frame table.
Under where?
The frame table.
Under the frame table. I like to blow the helmet off because every time I wipe my finger on it, it scratches the lens. Forgot to put it away. Should always have an air hose when you're ready to do something like this. Let's go easy on my brand new scalp. I don't know if it's my brand new scalp or not, but I've got a ground. Now, let's get our piece of metal put in here. And the object of this game here is to get this piece of metal in there as nice as possible, as flat as possible, so I can grind it off so you can't tell. That's the basics of it, I guess. I'm not ready yet, and the reason being is I haven't cut it off there, and I have to get that little piece of weld out of there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to weld that right here and knock that off. Doesn't look that good, but it welded it. Now, grind this off. Hard spot. Let's get that little grinder going again. Had the air going, had a little tiny grinder. Let's see if I can knock it off of that. I want to butt weld it to that. There. I say there. Get this piece in here. What's leaking? Air hose leaking. Sometimes the welder will take off leaking. I don't want that because it costs money. Gonna do this again. Gonna mark it off. Cut it off down here. Can't see really. Let's knock it off. Let's cut it off. And these 30s cars, like in the Fords, like the 32, the 34, 36, 33, whatever, are a very iconic car. So I know a lot of people have a really, strong opinion about these cars. But to me, it's just another car. that I want to fix. Now, I'm going to slide that. I'm going to get that up in there. Then do this. Get my third arm because it's a hard spot to get at. One tack. I forgot that on the wheel well. As me and Colton did the wheel well, we did the other wheel well over there, and we come over and did this one. And I come in and we spot welded it right there. It's like, that actually, Jolene said, that's not the way you should have done that. She's 100% right. I should not have done that because it stopped us from moving anything. And you'd be hard pressed to get that off once you spot weld that there. I forgot my own rule because I've been away from it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks or whatever. One tack holds it, two, it's in place. And we did not do that. We tacked it all up and went for it, and it's like, anyways, I had to have Jolene tell me, slow down. And that's basically what happened. I'm going to knock that on right there. One tack to hold it. That's got it in place right there. That's going to hold it. Now two's going to put it in place. See how I move that? Obviously. I'm going to move that a little bit more. Actually, I like, oh, no, let's move it up there, see what it says. See, I got a big gap going on there. Let's take it back a little bit. This one here is, I'll push this on. I want them to fit. I'm going to do this. I'm going to tack it there. Should do what Colton did. Check the welder before I start it. It's tacked and it's flush. Let's do this. Tack it again. We're nice and flush. Basically, I'm just trying to make sure that both pieces of metal are at the same playing field. If they're at the same playing field, then that means I can grind the weld off. If they're not, well then it's pretty hard. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tack this in place down here. You can see I'm overlapped there. See that? See I'm overlapped there? And I'm on dead-eye dick on there. But what's going to happen is I like where it's at right at the present moment because I like this here. This lines up with this here down here, and I can run the zip cut up through there nice and give me a nice spot. So I'm just going to tack this side on tight. Now I'm going to tack that side tight the whole way. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to butt weld that on after. And I want it to stay in place. Now, the hinge is sort of in the way there, but I'm going to nail it. Now, I'm going to leave that side like that, and I'm going to zip cut this side and make it perfect. That's nice right there. I'm going to nail that. That's nice. Let's do this. Make it flush. You can feel it with your finger. That's all I'm running my finger over for. See it flush. Keep the same distance. Okay. Now, let's do it. So what the process I'm going to do here is the process I'm going to do on this side. The process I'm going to do right this present second. Now I'm going to cut this. I'm just taking the grinder and I'm going down the edge of that metal, following that all the way down, and then we'll have the perfect place to put a butt weld. Then we can pull the excess off on the inside. Let's do this again. Let's get it fit and flush. Ooh, that's nice. Same distance going on. Doing it again, just to make sure. Haven't got a ground, obviously. It fell off, and that's okay. Your have to get back on there. That's all. Just making sure that's flush with the quarter panel. Just want to go easy on that. It's hot right there. Now, this piece has to come out. To meet that, now, haha, beautiful. Just got my fingers on the inside, pushing her out, making her tight and right. Let's push this one in, see if that works. Nope, that didn't work, did it? Piece of wire there that I knocked off is holding me out. Put my glove on, push it out again. A little nervous of my helmet on my head, but it is what it is. Can't stop living because I got some hair. Oh, there we go. Nailed it. Got it. Beautiful. Yeah, good. Good. You can see how that still doesn't. Push this one down so it's flush. Yeah. Push that in. Grinder's got to hit it again. Got a little tab in there, you can see. Watch yourself, sweetheart. I'll have to get that tab off the inside. All right. Doesn't want to play good. There's the piece of metal I pulled it from the inside. There we go. Fits perfect at the corner. That's perfect. Good. Now we're off a little bit right there. Just gonna bang on that with a hammer on the other side a little bit and see if I can get that to come out. I cut that, but cut it on an angle. You probably have to go on the other side. See that? I'm not sure, but yeah, it's pretty good. Put a handle on that. Watch my head. Watch your head, Chad. Ah, nice. This side is not getting welded up. I said that once before, all the way along there. I am going to tack it though, because I want it to stay in place. And that's what the tacks are for, so it would stay in place. Basically that's it. You don't like this one? I like this one right up here. It's too tight for me. Too tight. Let's do it this. Just fell out a little bit, that's all. So when I go to grind it off, it's not going to give me what I want. Much better. All right, now we have a good line going on there. Nothing's trying to make it as flat as possible going this way so it feels nice. So when I go to grind it off, looks good. All right, let's do this. Got the air hose hooked up. We're going to spot it. I like to get it every inch before I start messing with it. Every inch. I'm going to knock that on there. Stop it. Just knocking that on there. Let's do every inch in between each one. That's what we're going to do. If you find the gap, too wide as you're welding that up, see I got a, that's tight, pretty tight there, but that's a gap going on there. If you find it's too big of a gap when you're spot welding that on, pull the trigger, drop a little bit of meat, and then spot weld it. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean right now. Dropped a little bit of meat. See that little tiny piece of weld there? Dropped a little bit of meat, and then weld it. Drop a little bit of meat, dropped a little bit, then weld it. Drop a little bit, and then weld it. I have like a little dent going on here, and I think it's actually must have been there from before, is what I'm thinking. But we'll fix that after we weld the panel. Let's get this welded on, get it ground up so we can't tell it was there. All right, what I'm going to do is, now I got it like that, I feel like it's going to stay in place. Not going to do anything more on this side. I feel like it's okay. We'll deal with that when we do the door gap. But let's put this bad boy on. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to put the air to it, and that's basically what I'm going to do. And when I start the welder, the wire that I have right there, I'm going to put it on what I've already got, the meat that I already got. Why start it in another area where I can have a chance of burning through? I'm going to put it on on the spot weld I've already got, so I'm not going to burn through. And that way there, I can take off without knowing that I'm going to burn through. I'm going to lay it on top of the weld. There, 1. Wait till the red goes away. 2. I'm going to do 5 because it was right there. Almost done. Blow that off so it's cool. I'm going to touch it. Cold as a cucumber. Let's move up, say 6 inches. Why not? And then we'll do it again. 1. No glove on the welding hand, so I can try it. See how good it is. Let's move up a little bit. Let's do it again. Wait for the red to go away. Check out, I'm just going to spot it there just in case. Check out the shadow of the weld. Small. To me, it means I'm doing good for heat. Want this up there tight. Let's go back down. Do it again. Let's go across here. So you get a little bit down. Blow it off. No, it's not. Let's go in between each one. This right here is kind of showing you how to put a panel on without warping it all up and have to do a bunch of hammer work to it. If you were welding your panels on and then you have to do a bunch of hammer work to it, to me, I don't want to do that. I'm not interested in welding something all up and then trying to beat it back into shape. Not into that. I want to keep the car in shape after I weld it. And that's actually what makes me quicker than most, is because I'm not going back in and fighting what I've welded to make it back in shape. I'm not doing that. I am welding it up, grinding it off. I might tap it in a few places, but basically I'm keeping everything in shape and not destroying it and then fixing it. I am welding it up, grinding it off, and going for it. Gonna go in the middle of this one, keep heat down, gonna start right on a weld. And every time I do that, I start on the next weld. Jolene made a good post the other day about, you know, if you're overthinking it and you're not going for it, your project's sitting still. Basically, what has to happen is you have to go in and try to do something, and whether you do it right or whether you make a mistake, then you know where you're going. If you do not go for it, well, then you're not going to go anywhere. But if you get into something, if I come in here and I make a mistake, at least I know where I went wrong and what I can do next to fix it. But if you don't do anything and don't make any mistakes, you have no idea. But as soon as you go in there and make a mistake, then you know exactly what you have to do to go forward. So basically, do not be scared to make mistakes to go forward. You have to make the mistakes to go forward. I'm sure probably 99% of the inventions of the world were made by mistakes. Guarantee it. Including going to the moon. You know? Let's go down here, let's do this again. Beautiful. We're not out of place anywheres. Let's add on here somewhere, wherever we want to. We're not out of place, so we're doing good. I find any more or four or five spot welds, it starts to warp on you. So that's why I stay at the 4 mark. Take a look at the welder. I'm on C. Like a lot of people probably don't do sheet metal work on C. C is like the third level of heat that I'm going to is like thicker metal. But C is what I like because it burns in quick and I can get out quick. A lot of people like the B or the A. But D is for, like, you know, 8th plate or whatever, and whatever. But what I'm going to say is, as I had said on C, if it's not working good here, if I'm not welding good here, right there, the wire speed is where you go. That's where you go when you get things working good. Do not go to the gas. Do not go to the A, B, C, D level. Go to the wire speed. That's where you fix things. So anytime that the welder's not working good, go to the wire speed. That's it. Put it on a piece of metal. Keep playing with it and playing with the wire speed until it sounds right. So it sounds like it's burning bacon, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Whether you're welding lighter metal, you can turn the dial down to a B. You're still, if it's not working right, you're still going to go to the wire speed to fix it. So anytime you have an issue with your welder, go to the wire speed. Go to the wire speed. Let's do it. Touch it with my finger. Let's go up here and make sure this is tight. Because I'm going to weld it. Get a bit hot. Don't want that to be hot. We'll come back. Let's just put it in there. Down here, finish this off. So you want no heat. Not working the greatest right there. Probably could play with the wire speed a little bit, but I'm busy. Good. Move up here. Good. Move around a little bit. The reason I'm doing this is because the car has been sectioned. And by sectioned, you have to go back and take a look. We cut 3 inches out of this area, and we moved it up, which pulled it back a little bit because of when we did the back. So do this. I throw my hand on it just because I want to see if it's got heat. Waiting for the red to go away before I hit again. And I start right on top of the spot weld I just had. I like welding underneath this here too, because it's pretty hard to warp anything coming up here or warp anything coming up if I'm right underneath that bend and that roll. You know, the heat, that generally will dissipate your heat from going up in there. If you come down here, you have a chance of warping what's above it. You have a chance. I'm not saying you will. You have a chance. I don't know if I got that welded up there. There. Cool, cool, cool. Now check out the shadow of the weld. Very small compared to burning it on without using the air. All right, I have a dent right here at the top. I want to play with that before I grind that off. I think I can grind that all off and make that look nice. But there's a wow right there I sort of want to get. I'm going to get a, what am I going to get? Turn this off. Watch my head. Reason it's hard, you see that piece right there at the post of the door. Well, that's where the dent is behind. It's behind that, so I'm going to have to just play a little bit here. I'm just taking a look at it, eyeing my hammer out. Using the wooden part so I can get it in there. There's a dent from before. Just trying to get it out. Ooh, that feels not bad. That's good. Right there. Right there. Give me my hammer. I'm all locked and loaded. Nice. Nice. All right, let's grind this off. Make this look like something. I'm not going to be able to get right there probably until I get the door off, but I can grind that off, make that look like something. How am I going to grind that off? I'm going to grind off with the hard disc first. The reason I'm going to grind off the hard disc first is because just to take the metal down. So let's try to make that weld disappear. I'm going to show you how I've been doing it to make that weld disappear. I generally try not to take all the weld off, but in this instance I should be good. If we come over to the other side, it should show good penetration. Yeah, you can see also over here. You can see how nicely that's penetrated along there because the weld head is broken through. And I don't know how much you can see, but you can see how the weld has come right straight through on the metal. So we know that we're penetrated through enough to grind it off nicely. If it's not penetrated all the way through, then it becomes an issue because when you go to bang on it, if you want to do anything with it, then you have an issue because you have to weld it back up again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this grinder out. I tell Colton this all the time. I do not want anything ground off this metal here. I have nothing against it. I want to grind the weld down to the metal that we have, and that's it. Put the other glove on. Is my hair looking good? Huh? All right, let's grind this off. Just going to take the edge of the grinder hard disc, just a hard disc. Hard disc is the fat one, zip cuts are the thin one. Just going to try to hold it right on the edge of the weld all the way down and watch it scuff it off. And I must say, you can ruin hours and hours and hours of labor by not grinding right. You really can. If you grind that wrong, you can ruin hours and hours of work. Like you really can. You have to really pay attention. This is just as important as welding it on and getting fitting right, is to grind it right. take a look. You can see all the shadow. You can see where I touched it there, just touched it. I'm almost got the weld down where I want it to be, but you can tell that I'm not grinding the metal on either side of the weld. I'm just trying to take the weld off. I'm going to take a little bit more off. Another thing also, you can tell that what color is it? Like it's not black. Like when I'm grinding that, I've got no black marks in the weld. So I'm not overheating anything. I'm just using the grinder, just flatten it off and not overheating the weld. It's like, if you start blacking things out, that means obviously you're causing heat just like the shadow. Bad, not bad. I got a little place here, right there, that's nice. A little place there I'd like to bang on and get it out a little bit further. And it would be right underneath something that I don't want it to be, but let's do this. Just gonna, I can bang on it after. What happens is I got a little spot that right underneath this piece of square stock, there's a piece that's in a little bit. I'd like to have it out, but I'm going to grind it off anyways to make it look nice. Now, use the hard disc. I can use sometimes I use a flapper wheel. Sometimes I use a 34 or 36 grit wheel. I'm going to try the zip cut. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place the zip cut right on top of the weld, and I'm just going to try to feather it off. I'm not pressing real hard on my zip cut to cause me an issue. I'm just using it to feather off the weld. Now you can see I've got that mostly disappeared. Let's take this on, see what this does. Just got that. You can still see shadow on each side, so you know I'm not grinding too much of the metal away. Haven't touched it yet. There's shadow on either side. Now I've got that pretty well ground. I got a little spot right there. I want to tap it out, and it was there when I welded it. This up here is nice because it's out and it's high. You can tell that I haven't ground a bunch this way and a bunch that way to try to flatten it all off. I just kind of flattened the weld off and did that. And then what I'll do is I'll take, it's not completely ground there yet, but I want to get the door off before I can get in there and get that ground off nice. Then we'll take this bad boy. We're going to clean it up so you can't see it. This way it look better. Now you can see basically what I'm going for as I weld that up, and that's basically now if you see any places where it's, what can I say, any places where there's like a pocket or something like that, if you want it perfect, then that means you go over it again. You weld it again and you grind it again. But what I'm saying is as I've got that ground off, I feel like I'm okay to hit it with a hammer. I'm okay to put filler on it. I'm okay for basically anything with the way it looks there now. With grinding it all off and taking all your metal away is not where it's at for me. But you can see right here, it's basically disappeared. Right here, you can still see the weld a little bit because it needs to be punched out. It needs to be knocked out a little bit, and I'll knock it out when the door comes off. And then we'll cut this side here, and we'll do the exact same thing to get myself a door gap. I'm not going to grind that off until I get that out, and then we'll get a zip cut in it, and we'll peel it off, and we'll do a real good job with it. But I have to do that to the other side. Door gap will be done when the door comes off. Door's going to come off probably after the chop. That's what I'm thinking. And we're really going to chop this one different than I've seen any other one. So I'd like you to come back. I'd like you to tell your friends. I'd like you to tell everybody. Man, oh man, you want to see the job they're doing on this 34. Wow. They got 3 grinders and a hammer, and I've never seen anybody do it better. Oh, how many grinders? I got 4 grinders and a hammer, 2 hammers. All right, everybody, thanks a lot for coming back. I really appreciate it. I really do. It's going good, and I feel like anybody that's watching what I'm doing can do the exact same thing. It's going to take practice. It's going to take practice, but the simple little tiny things about tacking it, 2 tacks, taking a look at it, see if it fits everywhere. Butt welding, lay it over top, cut it, and then butt weld it together. You know, it makes it easier that way. And do it your way. Have a great day. come back tomorrow, and I'll be here.